Good afternoon, class. How's everybody doing?
Good.
Alright, so yesterday we started on our new book, Orcs and Crake by Margaret Atwood, and you had a reading assignment last night as well as a writing one, but we'll get to that later. First of all, can I have someone read the sentence, or the quote I picked out for you guys? Marion.
Human beings hope they can stick their souls into someone else, some new version of themselves, and live forever.
Very good. So the first thing we're going to do is look at it very grammatically. We're not going to really look at the content yet. We will discuss that in a moment, though. So I have little assignments for all of you. Stephanie, you will tell me what kind of sentence it is. Karan, you're going to look for some sort of literary device. And Marion, you're going to have to diagram the sentence. All right? Everybody work on your sentence. I'll give you a few minutes. Okay, guys, time's up. Let's see what you got. Stephanie, what type of sentence did you find it to be?
A complex sentence.
Oh, really? Okay, that was very good. That is correct, as evidenced by the clause at the end. That is not, doesn't have a complete subject and predicate again. That is not a compound sentence, but the comma indicates that there is another clause. Therefore, it's a complex sentence. Very nice. Karan, did you manage to find any literary devices?
I thought there was alliteration in it because the first few words are human beings hope.
Right. The repeating H sounds.
Yeah.
Very good. Yes, that is indeed an alliteration. Good job. I didn't think there were actually any literary devices in there, but you managed to find them. And Marion, did you manage to diagram it? Let's see.
Did I do that right?
Very nice. Wow, very intricate.
I know.
You guys are getting good at this diagramming. Alright, so now we're going to move on to the content of the quotes. So Margaret Atwood writes a lot about alternative worlds, and she really plays with this idea of dystopia. And I know we talked about this a little bit yesterday. Can anyone define dystopia for me? Karan?
Well, I thought that a dystopia was like similar to a utopia, but it might be like based on something which like some people might view as like a positive attribute or quality, but to like us it would seem bad. That's
a pretty interesting description. Most people think that utopia or dystopia is the opposite of utopia, but you bring up a very good point. And a dystopia, it might be a utopia for some within that society, but for the oppressed group usually in the society, we find that it is not always as wonderful as it seems, with other books that we read, such as Brave New World in 1984. So, good. So we're dealing with a lot of different themes in this book. There's a lot of environmental degradation happening in the book. The planet is suffering, obviously, and there seems to be this sort of sacrifice of art for the higher sciences. And she's questioning maybe if that's ethically good for us as human beings. And there are also the more specific examples of science maybe going too far, like growing human beings and pigs and that kind of thing. Human organs, human tissues. And so we're seeing if maybe that has an effect on society as well. So what I want you guys to do is to get into groups of 3, and I want you to come up with an argument and have 2 reasons for or against this kind of dystopia that she outlines in here. I'll give you guys a few minutes. So, ready?
Okay.
All right, guys, time's up. Who's going to be discussion leader? Marion. All right.
Well, we decided that we are against the dystopia of Margaret Atwood because there's a replacement. You talked about the replacement of a lot of the culture and like the literature with these science classes or with an emphasis on science, which is fine. I mean, you can already see that happening in our world now. But then a lot of times it seems like they take it too far. Like they would clone human organs in these pigs they called pigoons, which is really creepy because you're basically harvesting human organs.
But you see, a lot of people would say that because you're saving lives, you're technically prolonging life with those kinds of organs. People who can't have kidney replacements, who are on top of donor lists normally now, and can't have those life-saving sorts of genetic tricks that we had in this dystopia. What would you say to them?
Exactly. But I know in the Health Visor compound, which is where the main character Jimmy lives, the mother found it very disturbing that these animals were essentially being killed for for humans. And I mean, depending on where you stand in the environmental issues, it could be good or bad. And there's also,
I guess there also seems to be a problem of prolonging life, like when have we been prolonging life past what it should be or what it ought to be? Did you guys talk about that at all in your group?
yeah, Quran mentioned that they created a lot of pills also, and obviously the pig transplants. But the problem was that the companies producing these products found that the people were not becoming sick anymore. And the more products they create, like the less disease there is and the less business they get in the future.
I see. That's an interesting problem you bring up, because I think we're having problems with that in today's society as well, with some countries in Africa are being subject to a lot of medical testing because they can't afford a lot of medication. So they're basically the breeding grounds for corporations to come in and try out their drugs to make sure that they are fit for their consumers in more Western countries. So you guys did a good job, brought up many good points. So class is over for today. You guys did a really great job.